The pit was not meant for humans. Everyone in the mining colony knew that. The warning signs were clear. Red lights blinked day and night. Alien symbols covered the steel walls. Even the bravest guards stayed away from it. They called it Pit 7. Deep under the colony floor, Pit 7 was where broken machines, failed experiments, and dangerous alien waste were thrown away. Some workers said they heard sounds from it at night. Not machines. Not animals. Crying. Jax Hale stood near the edge of the pit, his hands shaking. He was not a hero. He was not a soldier. He was only a human maintenance worker. Third shift. Low pay. No family. No future plans. But right now he was the only one there. The alarm had gone off 10 minutes earlier. Unauthorized life form detected. The guards were busy on the other side of the sector. The supervisors had locked the area remotely. And then Jax heard it again. A small sound. Soft. Weak. A child crying. Jax leaned closer to the edge and looked down. The pit was deep. Too deep to see the bottom. Cold air rushed upward, carrying a strange heat inside it, like fire hiding under ice. And then he saw her. An alien child. She was small, no taller than a human toddler. Her skin shimmered like soft silver blue metal. Large black eyes reflected the red warning lights. One of her legs was hurt, bent at a wrong angle. She was hanging onto a broken pipe with tiny trembling hands. If she let go, she would fall forever. Jax's heart slammed hard against his chest. "How did you get here?" he whispered, even though he knew she could not understand him. His wrist console beeped. "Security incoming, 3 minutes. Protocol, do not engage. Do not rescue. Life form classified as non-human." Jax swallowed. He had followed rules his whole life. Rules kept humans alive in alien colonies. Rules stopped wars. Rules kept peace. But rules did not stop a child from falling into darkness. The pipe cracked. The sound echoed through the pit like thunder. The alien child screamed. That was it. Jax did not think anymore. He removed the safety lock from the railing and climbed over. His console screamed warnings. His suit protested. His mind begged him to stop. But his body moved. He jumped. The fall felt endless. Cold air burned his skin. Gravity crushed his chest. The walls rushed past him, glowing with strange red symbols carved into the metal long ago. Then, impact. Pain exploded through his back and legs. His breath vanished. His vision went black. For a moment, he thought he was dead. But then he heard breathing. Not his. The alien child lay beside him, still alive. The pipe had slowed their fall. They had landed on a wide platform halfway down the pit. Jax groaned and forced his eyes open. The platform was not part of the mine. It was old. Stone-like. Covered in dust and strange carvings. Symbols shaped like claws, wings, and fire. The child crawled toward him, scared but alive. She touched his arm with glowing fingers. The moment she touched him, pain returned. Not normal pain. Fire pain. Jax screamed. His chest burned like someone pressed hot metal into his skin. He tore open his suit, gasping. A mark was forming. A symbol. Black lines burned themselves into his flesh, moving like living fire. The shape twisted, then settled. A dragon. A full-winged dragon, coiled and alive. The platform shook. The pit answered. A deep sound rose from below. Not a roar. Not a machine. A voice. He is marked. The words were not spoken in sound, but in his mind. Jax tried to crawl away, but his body refused to move. The dragon mark glowed red, then gold. The air grew hot. The child stepped back, eyes wide, not afraid of the pit, but of him. Lights ignited across the walls. The ancient symbols began to glow. A human bears the seal. The bloodline breathes again. Jax shook his head. No, I'm just a worker. I'm nobody. The pit did not care. Something massive moved below. The platform trembled harder now. Dust fell like rain. Heat rolled upward in waves. Far above, Jax heard muffled shouts. Guards had reached the pit. But it was too late. The platform cracked down the middle. The child screamed again. Without thinking, Jax pulled her close and shielded her with his body. The dragon mark exploded with light. Fire wrapped around him, Not burning, but protecting. The platform collapsed. They fell again. But this time, they did not fall into darkness. They fell into fire. Jax woke up screaming. He sat straight up, gasping for air, his hands clawing at his chest. Cold metal walls surrounded him. Medical lights. A recovery chamber. He was alive. Machines hummed softly. Tubes ran into his arms. His suit was gone, replaced by a thin medical cloth. Slowly his breathing slowed. It was a dream, he whispered. Then he looked down. The dragon mark was still there. Dark. Sharp. Perfect. It pulsed once, slow and strong. A door slid open. Guards rushed in, weapons raised. Behind them stood colony scientists, pale and shaken. One of them spoke in a quiet, scared voice. The scanners confirm it. Confirm what? Jax asked. No one answered him. Instead, the lights in the room dimmed. The dragon mark burned hot again. And deep beneath the colony, something ancient opened its eyes. The room felt smaller than before. Jax Hale sat on the medical bed, his back straight, his eyes fixed on the guards. Their weapons were pointed at him, but their hands were shaking. Not because he was armed. Because he was marked. The dragon symbol on his chest was dark now, but it felt alive, like a heart beating under his skin. Every time Jax breathed, it pulsed slowly, warm and heavy. One of the scientists stepped forward. She was tall, with pale skin and silver implants along her neck. Her name badge read, Dr. Elira Voss. You should not exist, she said quietly. Jax frowned. That's rude. No one laughed. Dr. Voss swallowed. That mark is older than this colony. Older than most species in the council. It belongs to something we erased. Jax looked down at his chest again. I didn't ask for it. The lights flickered. Every machine in the room beeped at once. A guard shouted. Energy spike. It's coming from him. Jax felt it too. Pressure built inside his bones, like heat trapped in steel. His hands clenched. The air around him shimmered, bending like it was afraid. Everybody calm down. Dr. Voss ordered. Do not fire. Too late. One nervous guard pulled the trigger. The shot never reached Jax. The air in front of him hardened. The energy bolt hit an invisible wall and vanished like smoke and fire. Silence filled the room. Jax stared at his hands. I didn't do that on purpose. Dr. Voss whispered. Adaptive defense. Automatic. The guard stepped back. For the first time in his life, humans were not the weakest beings in the room. The door slid open again. Two alien officials entered, surrounded by floating security drones. Their bodies were tall and thin, their faces hidden behind glowing masks. Members of the council. The taller one spoke in a cold, echoing voice. Human Jax Hale. You are under interspecies investigation. That mark belongs to the Dracarys legacy. Jax blinked. The what? The dragon rulers, the alien replied. They nearly destroyed the galaxy. Dr. Voss looked away. They were not destroyed, she said. They vanished. The alien turned sharply. You are not authorized. They vanished, she repeated louder. Because humans helped hide their last secret. Jax's heart skipped. Humans. We weren't even spacefaring back then. That is what history says, Dr. Voss replied. The room grew quiet. The alien official's voice dropped. The child. Where is the Dracarys child? Jax stiffened. She's alive. Where? He hesitated. I won't tell you. Every weapon lifted again. The mark burned. The floor cracked under Jax's feet. He stood up slowly. I jumped into that pit to save her, he said, his voice steady but low. I didn't know who she was. I didn't care. She was a child. The room shook again. Lights shattered. Drones fell from the air dead. Jax's eyes glowed faint gold. Dr. Voss stared in awe. He's synchronizing without training. The alien official took a step back. This is impossible. No, Dr. Voss said. This is why the Dracarys chose humans. Jax clenched his fists. The burning eased. Chose us for what? He asked. Dr. Voss took a deep breath. To be carriers. She explained quickly. Long ago, when the Dracarys knew they would fall, they made a choice. They could not survive openly. The galaxy feared them too much. So they hid their power. Not in machines. Not in bloodlines that could be hunted. They hid it in something overlooked. Humans. Scattered. Weak. Short-lived. Ignored. The dragon mark was not random. It appeared only when a human proved something rare. Selfless courage. Jax laughed softly, without humor. So, I passed a test by jumping into a death pit. Yes, Dr. Voss said. And now the legacy has awakened. An alarm screamed through the colony. External fleet detected. Non-council warships. The alien official hissed. They know. Screens lit up, showing massive ships emerging from hyperspace. Black hulls. Red symbols. Hunters. They've been waiting for the mark to appear, Dr. Voss said. Now they'll burn this colony to get it. Jax felt fear grip him. But beneath it, something else rose. Anger. They're not touching her, he said. The mark answered. Fire raced through his veins, not painful, but strong. His spine straightened. His senses sharpened. He could hear voices through walls. Feel engines through the floor. Where is the child? He asked. Dr. Voss hesitated, then nodded. Follow me. They ran through sealed corridors as explosions rocked the colony. Emergency lights painted everything red. In a hidden chamber deep underground, the alien child sat inside a glowing field. She looked up when Jax entered. Her fear vanished. She smiled. She placed her small hand on the barrier. The mark on Jax's chest blazed bright gold. The field shattered like glass. The child ran into his arms. The moment he held her, something clicked into place. Not power. Purpose. A deep voice filled his mind again. But this time it was calm. Protector accepted. Jax lifted his head. Above the colony, enemy ships fired. Below it, a human stood holding a dragon child. And the galaxy was about to learn something new. Humans were no longer just survivors. They were guardians. The sky above the colony burned. Enemy ships filled the darkness, their red symbols glowing like open wounds in space. One by one, energy cannons fired. Shields cracked. Towers collapsed. Sirens screamed until they died in static. Inside the colony, panic ruled. But deep underground, Jax Hale stood still. The alien child, small, warm, alive, clung to his chest. Her heartbeat was calm. She trusted him. Jax did not understand how, but he knew one thing. He was no longer alone inside his own body. The dragon mark pulsed. Not with rage. With focus. Dr. Alira Voss stood behind him, watching readings explode across her tablet. Your energy output, it's beyond Drakkari records. Jax looked up. I don't want power. The mark answered anyway. Power is not given. It is answered. The walls trembled as a blast struck close. Dust fell from the ceiling. They're breaking through, Dr. Voss said. Once they reach this level. They won't, Jax replied. He stepped forward. The air changed. Heat rolled outward in a slow wave, bending metal, melting weapons in soldiers' hands. Emergency doors warped and sealed themselves. Jax closed his eyes. For the first time, he did not fight the fire inside him. He listened. He saw visions. Ancient skies filled with dragons, worlds burning, and humans standing between monsters and innocents. He felt fear, lost hope. Then he opened his eyes. Gold light poured from the mark. The ceiling split open. Not from an explosion, but from something rising. Stone shattered. Fire spiraled upward. A massive shape emerged from the pit below the colony. Wings of flame unfolded, not burning the structure, but reinforcing it. A dragon of energy and memory, bound to Jax's will. Not a weapon. A guardian. Every screen in the colony lit up. Every ship in orbit detected it. The hunters froze. That's not possible, their commander whispered. The Drakkari are extinct. The dragon roared, not in sound but in presence. And the hunters felt something they had not felt in generations. Fear. Jax's voice carried through every channel, human and alien alike. This colony is under my protection, he said. Leave now. The hunters answered with fire. The first volley never reached the colony. The dragon moved. Not fast. Certain. Energy curved around its wings. Enemy shots bent away, tearing through their own ships. One vessel lost power completely and drifted into another. Panic spread through the fleet. "Focus fire on the human," the commander screamed. They did. All weapons locked onto Jax's location. Dr. Voss shouted, "You can't take that much." Jax lifted one hand. The mark flared white. The dragon mirrored him. A shield expanded outward, wide enough to cover the entire colony. Every shot struck it and vanished like sparks in water. Jax staggered, pain finally breaking through. The child pressed her forehead against his chest. Warmth flowed into him. Strength. She was not just protected by him. She was helping him. Symbiosis, Dr. Voss whispered. They were never rulers. They were partners. Jax smiled weakly. Figures. The hunters tried to retreat. The dragon did not chase. Instead, Jax did something unexpected. He spoke again. "You came here to take power," he said. "But power without restraint destroys itself." The dragon raised its head. A single beam of golden fire shot upward, not at the fleet, but into space. It spread like a signal. Across nearby systems, humans looked up as their instruments screamed. Dormant marks awakened. Not dragons in the sky. Dragons in people. Miners. Pilots. Medics. Workers. Ordinary humans who had chosen others over themselves. The galaxy felt it. The hunters' fleet engines failed all at once. Dead in space. Silence followed. Slowly, the dragon dissolved into light and returned to Jax's chest. The mark dimmed, settling into a calm glow. Jax fell to one knee. Dr. Voss rushed to him. "You did it." He shook his head. "We did." Above them, the hunters surrendered. For the first time in recorded history, the council arrived late. Days later, Jax stood on a platform overlooking the repaired colony. Human and alien workers moved together, rebuilding. The child sat beside him, legs swinging. She looked up and spoke, not in words but in feeling. "Home." "I know," Jax said softly. Dr. Voss approached. "The council wants answers. They want control." Jax stood. "They can have answers," he said, "but not control." "And if they refuse?" Jax looked at the sky. "Then humanity will remind them." He was still a maintenance worker. Still human. But now the galaxy knew the truth. Humans were not weak. They were chosen, not for strength but for heart. And when the dragon mark burned, humanity answered.